everyone. Welcome to English Learning Podcast. I'm Linda Wang.
And I'm Michael Johnson. Hey, Linda, can you believe we're finally doing this podcast together?
Right? We've been talking about starting this show for such a long time. It feels like forever.
At least ever since we were seniors back at Harvard.
Totally. And here we are, finally hitting the record button. For our very first episode, we thought we'd keep it simple and do a casual get-to-know-us chat.
Exactly. Think of it like IELTS Speaking Part 1, but way more relaxed, and no exam pressure at all.
And hopefully, we've got better jokes too. All right, Michael, since this is our English learning podcast, I'll go first and interview you. You ready?
Born ready. Fire away.
All right, let's start easy. Could you tell me your full name?
My full name is Michael James Johnson. Michael is my first name, James is my middle name, named after my grandfather, and Johnson is my family name.
Is there any special meaning behind your name?
Well, the name Michael comes from Hebrew, and it means who is like God. It sounds pretty dramatic when you think about it. My parents just loved how it sounded classic, strong, and not overly trendy. As for Johnson, it's super common in the US, and it basically means son of John. It's one of the most popular last names in America, so growing up in school, people always called me Michael J. to tell me apart from all the other Michaels in class.
Do your friends have any special nicknames for you?
Most people just call me Michael. Some close friends call me MJ from my initials, and I'm fine with that. Back in my Harvard dorm days, my roommates jokingly called me Johnny because of my last name Johnson, but that didn't stick after freshman year. And you, Linda, you sometimes call me
Mikey, but only when I'm teasing you or annoyed with you.
which is pretty often, honestly.
Fair enough. All right, where are you originally from?
I'm from New York City. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, not Manhattan. I always have to make that clear. Most people hear New York and immediately picture skyscrapers and Times Square, but Brooklyn has its own totally different vibe.
What's Brooklyn like as a place to live?
Brooklyn is really layered and diverse. You'll find people from all kinds of backgrounds: Caribbean, Italian, Jewish, Puerto Rican, and lots of young, creative locals too. I grew up in Park Slope. These days it's become pretty upscale, but back when I was a kid, it was more working class and super diverse. It had that real warm neighborhood feel. There were small local shops on every corner, kids playing street games outside, and older men sitting on sidewalks playing chess.
Did you enjoy growing up there?
I really loved my childhood there. I don't live in Brooklyn anymore, though. I'm based in Boston now for work. I still go back pretty often to visit my parents. Every time I'm there, I can still feel that amazing city energy. It's tiring in a good way and really exciting at the same time.
Has the neighborhood changed a lot since you were little?
It's changed completely. Some parts of Brooklyn I knew as a kid barely feel the same anymore. Park Slope used to be affordable for regular working families, but now those old townhouses sell for millions. A lot of the local small shops have turned into fancy coffee spots. It's safer and cleaner now with better public funding, but many ordinary locals can no longer afford to stay. It's a bit of a mixed feeling.
Is there anything you don't like about the city?
The cost of living, especially rent. Even just visiting feels expensive these days. And the subway. It's iconic. Sure, but it's often messy and unreliable. I have a real love-hate relationship with it. I appreciate that the subway system exists, but I definitely can't stand how it sometimes looks and smells.
Let's move on to your work life. Do you have a full-time job now? And what do you do exactly?
Yeah, I do. I work as a management consultant at a firm based in Boston. Basically, I help companies work out complicated business problems, covering business strategy, daily operations, and organizational adjustments. My job involves a lot of presentation work and plenty of late nights,
How long have you been working in this field?
around 3 years now. I started right after I graduated from Harvard. I interned with the same company during my junior year summer, got a full-time offer after graduation, and I've been here ever since.
Do you actually enjoy your job?
It's a mix of good and challenging parts. I really like the mental challenge. Every few months, I get to work with a totally different industry. One month, I might be learning all about healthcare, and the next I'm looking into renewable energy. It keeps my mind sharp, and my colleagues are all really smart people. But the working hours are really tough. Some weeks I work 70 to 80 hours, and it's hard to have much personal life outside of work.
What's the most challenging part of your job?
Honestly, it's all the business travel. I'm on the road 3 to 4 days every week, staying in hotels, and often ordering late-night room service. It sounds glamorous at first, but after a while, you barely get to stay in your own apartment. Last month, I even missed my best friend's birthday because I was stuck in Chicago for a work project.
Would you consider changing jobs sometime in the future?
I probably will down the line. Consulting isn't really a lifelong career for most people. I'd love to try something more entrepreneurial. Maybe start my own business or join a new startup team. I've also thought about going back to school for an MBA. Though I already deal with business-related work every day, it might still be worthwhile. Right now, I'm still learning a lot and building professional connections, so I'm glad I'm sticking with it for the moment.
What do you usually do to relax after work?
If I'm staying in Boston, I'll head to the gym. There's a boxing studio near my place that I really love. It's the perfect way to let off some steam without getting into trouble. If I'm traveling for work, I usually just rest. I'll watch some casual TV in my hotel room, order some comfort food, and try to get a good night's sleep. Nothing too exciting.
All right, let's talk about studying. Are you still a student at the moment?
I'm not enrolled in a formal degree program anymore, but I feel like I'm always learning new things. My job basically requires constant self-study. Every new project means learning about a new industry, new professional terms, and new market trends. I'm also taking a few online data science courses in my spare time to keep my skills up to date.
What did you major in back at university?
I studied economics at Harvard. At Harvard, they call a major a concentration, so my main concentration was economics, and I also did a secondary focus in computer science.
Why did you pick those subjects?
When I first entered college, I originally planned to become a lawyer. It's a pretty common expectation in many immigrant families. Doctor or lawyer. Economics seemed like a solid choice to prepare for law school. Then in my second year, I took the famous CS50 computer science class, and I totally fell in love with it. I really enjoyed the logic, problem solving, and the immediate results you get from coding. I didn't fully switch to computer science because I was already halfway through my economics track, so I chose it as a secondary field instead. Looking back, it turned out to be a really great combination for my consulting career.
Which university did you attend?
Harvard University, located in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's right next to Boston, though locals from Cambridge would never let you mix the two up.
Did you enjoy your university life?
I absolutely loved it. When you first arrive at Harvard, it can feel a little overwhelming with all the history, reputation, and that feeling of not quite belonging. I still remember walking through Harvard Yard as a freshman, seeing the famous John Harvard statue, and thinking to myself, do I really belong here? Everyone else seems so talented, but after a while, you slowly settle in. The school resources are amazing, great professors, huge libraries, and inspiring guest speakers. Most importantly, I met some of my closest friends there, including you.
Aw, that's so sweet. Thanks, Mikey.
Hey, don't call me Mikey.
Sorry, old habit. What was the hardest part of your university studies?
Definitely econometrics. It's basically statistics applied to economics, and I've never been naturally good at math. I spent more time going to professor office hours for that class than I did sleeping some weeks. I still remember one really tough homework assignment on instrumental variables. It took me 3 full days to finish. I was so frustrated I almost wanted to throw my laptop out the window.
Did you have any part-time jobs while studying at university?
I did. I worked as a research assistant for one of the economics professors. My main work was running data analysis and organizing research data sets. The pay was decent, but more importantly, it helped me get a strong recommendation letter for my future career. I also worked part-time at the campus pub as a bartender on weekends. That was way more fun than doing research work.
What would you like to study or learn in the future?
I'd like to get an MBA one day, maybe at Harvard Business School, to stay within the Harvard community. I've also thought about studying something totally different, like philosophy. I took a moral philosophy class in my final year and really enjoyed it. It had nothing to do with my career path, but it made me slow down and think about what I truly value in life. That's pretty rare when life stays busy all the time.
All right, I think I've asked you plenty of questions. Shall we switch roles now?
Absolutely. Now it's my turn to interview you. And remember, this is English Learning Podcast, so I'm expecting great answers from you.
I'll do my best.
All right, tell me your full name.
My full name is Linda Wang. Wang is my family name, and Linda is my English name. I use Linda for all my study and work life abroad.
How did you pick the name Linda?
Actually, I didn't choose it myself. My middle school English teacher gave it to me. She said I had a calm, easygoing personality, and I seemed approachable to others. She thought the name Linda fit me well. In some languages, it carries the meaning of beautiful or gentle, and it does sound warm and friendly. The name just stuck with me ever since, and I really like it. It's simple, easy for everyone to pronounce, and works perfectly in both English and Chinese settings.
That's really lovely. Okay, where's your hometown?
I'm from Beijing, China. I was born and raised there, and I lived in Beijing until I turned 18. Then I came to the US for university.
Tell us what Beijing is like.
Beijing is such a huge city full of contrasts. You can feel the ancient traditional culture everywhere alongside modern city life. You have historic landmarks like the Forbidden City and the Temple of Heaven, plus old traditional Hutong streets that are hundreds of years old. Right next to them are modern skyscrapers, big shopping centers, and tech parks. The city scale is hard to describe until you actually visit. It's home to over 20 million people, and it really feels like everyone is out on the subway during rush hour.
What do you love most about Beijing?
First of all, the food. Beijing local cuisine is amazing. Of course, there's Peking duck, but also breakfast jianbing, traditional jjiangmian for lunch, and hot pot in winter. The street food culture is absolutely fantastic. I also love the deep history. You can walk along a street and easily imagine ancient emperors walking the same path centuries ago. The city carries a strong sense of history and tradition. I also like the local people's energy. They're ambitious, straightforward, and hardworking, and that pushes you to keep improving yourself.
Is there anything you don't like about it?
Air quality used to be a big problem, especially in winter. I remember days when we couldn't even see buildings just across the road from our home. Sometimes schools would suspend outdoor activities, and we had to stay indoors all day. The government has made huge improvements in recent years, so it's much better now, but it's still an issue at times. And of course, the traffic. Beijing traffic is famously bad. A short drive can easily take 2 hours during rush hour. You either learn to be patient or you get stressed out.
Would you ever consider moving back to Beijing permanently someday?
Maybe for a few years in the future. I miss my family, the local food, and the comfort of speaking my native language in daily life. But I've already built my study and personal life here in the US. I'm used to the lifestyle, the living space, and the direct local culture. If I moved back, I'd probably feel reverse culture shock, so I'd love to go back for a period of time, but probably not stay forever.
Let's talk about your work and study now. What are you doing currently?
I'm a graduate student and research assistant at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I'm working on my master's degree in media studies, and I also work part-time in a research lab focusing on digital communication and online community behavior.
How long have you been at MIT?
I've been here for 2 years. I started right after I graduated from Harvard. I took a 1 year break after graduation to do some freelance writing and travel a little. Then I got accepted into MIT and continued my study in the Cambridge and Boston area.
Do you enjoy your postgraduate study and research work?
I really love it. The research topics are super interesting. We study how people build online communities, how information spreads online, and how social platforms influence public opinions. It's closely connected to real-world trends and current events. MIT also has such incredible academic atmosphere. Everyone around you is working on projects that could really make an impact on the world.
What does a typical day look like for you?
My daily schedule is pretty flexible. On class days, I'm on campus from 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, attending lectures, seminars, and professor office hours. I usually have lunch at the student center with classmates, and our chats always turn into deep discussions about academic theories or current news. In the evening, I might stay in the lab running research experiments, designing surveys, or analyzing data. I also spend a lot of time writing academic papers, blog articles, and research applications. On days without classes, I prefer working from a coffee shop or my apartment to change my environment. I usually finish work around 7 or 8, then meet friends for dinner or just relax at home with a book.
What's the most difficult part for you right now?
Honestly, it's that feeling of self-doubt. MIT is full of extremely talented people. Some were building robots in high school. Others already published research papers as undergraduates. Sometimes I feel like I got in by luck, and I have to keep reminding myself that I worked hard and I truly belong here. Besides that, the study workload is really heavy. There are weeks when I have 3 big deadlines at the same time, and I really wonder how I'll get everything done. But somehow, I always manage to finish on time.
What are your future career plans?
Eventually, I hope to become a university professor, teaching and doing academic research. I'd also love to write books that explain complicated academic ideas in simple ways for ordinary readers. Another path I've considered is working in tech policy, helping governments and tech companies make more ethical decisions about digital platforms. Journalism is also an option. I wrote for the Harvard School newspaper back in college, and I really enjoyed it. I'm keeping my choices open. The great thing about a master's degree is it doesn't lock you into just one career path.
Let's talk more about your learning journey. Are you still studying new things right now?
Definitely. As a full-time master's student, I'm always busy with my official coursework. Outside of that, I keep taking extra online courses and workshops. Right now, I'm working on a certificate in data visualization, which will help me present my research results more clearly. I'm also learning basic Python coding. It's quite challenging for me, and I'm still not very good at it, but it's a necessary skill for my research work.
What did you study for your bachelor's degree at Harvard?
I studied social studies. It's an interdisciplinary major that combines sociology, political science, economics, history, and philosophy. Students can design their own study focus within the major. I concentrated on media and democracy, mainly exploring how different media environments influence public opinions and people's political participation.
Why did you choose this major?
I've always been curious about why people think and believe the way they do. Growing up in China, I was very aware of how information and public narratives work. After coming to the US, I saw a totally different media environment, more open and chaotic, sometimes influencing public opinion in its own subtle ways. I wanted to understand the logic behind all of this. Social studies gave me the perfect training in critical thinking, cross-subject analysis, and academic writing.
Did you enjoy your undergraduate life at Harvard?
It was a life-changing experience. I arrived in the US as an 18-year-old student from Beijing, quite naive about Western culture and college life. By graduation, I'd grown a lot and formed my own way of thinking. Harvard challenged all my old ideas. I met professors who completely changed my perspective on the world and made friends from all corners of the globe. I learned to share my opinions, defend my thoughts, and also admit when I'm wrong.
What was the hardest part of college life for you?
It was definitely social adaptation. Academically, I was well prepared from my high school in Beijing, and I knew how to handle heavy study tasks. But socially, I felt like an outsider for a long time. I had to slowly learn American casual culture, sarcasm, sports references, and everyday small talk, and it took me years to get comfortable. I still remember once, in freshman year, someone asked me what my spirit animal was. I had no idea what that phrase meant at all. I just said panda because I'm from China, and everyone laughed. I couldn't tell if they thought it was funny or just strange.
That's actually pretty funny. Did you have any part-time jobs back then?
I did. I worked as a student tour guide at the Harvard Art Museums, mainly introducing the Chinese contemporary art collection to visitors. It was perfect because it connected my cultural background with my academic interest. I also did freelance translation work, translating academic papers from Chinese to English. The pay was good, but the work was really repetitive and tiring.
What do you hope to study or learn in the future?
I plan to apply for PhD programs next year. I hope to pursue a doctorate in communication or media studies, possibly at Stanford, MIT, or back at Harvard. My long-term goal is to become a professional researcher who can influence how society thinks about technology and digital media. And to be completely honest, I'd also love to learn creative writing someday just for fun. I hope I can even write a novel, even if only for myself to read. It would feel like such a special personal treat.
All right, let's finish with a few casual questions. What do you like to do in your free time?
I love reading a lot: fiction, nonfiction, essays, and poetry. Basically, anything I find interesting. Recently, I've been reading works by a Chinese sci-fi writer called Chen Fan. His stories mix traditional Chinese mythology with futuristic technology, and I really love his writing style. I also enjoy running. I often jog along the Charles River route a few times a week. It's around 5 miles, and the sunset view over the Boston skyline is absolutely stunning. Besides that, I like cooking at home. I've been trying to learn my mom's home recipes. I'm getting better at making dumplings, but my handmade noodles still need a lot more practice.
Do you prefer spending free time alone or hanging out with friends?
I'm a mix of both. I'm introverted by nature, so I need quiet alone time to recharge my energy. But I also really enjoy deep, meaningful conversations with close friends. I'm not a big fan of large parties or shallow small talk. I'd much rather have a slow dinner with 2 or 3 friends and chat for hours than go to a crowded bar. I always value quality over quantity when it comes to social life.
What kind of music do you listen to?
My taste is pretty mixed. I grew up listening to Chinese pop singers like Jay Chu and Fei Wang, and I still listen to their songs whenever I miss home. During college, I got into indie folk music. Now, I also listen to a lot of podcasts in my daily life, which isn't exactly music, but it fills my downtime just the same. When I need to focus on work and study, I prefer classical music or soft ambient instrumental tracks. I avoid songs with lyrics because I'll get distracted and start reading or singing along instead of working.
Do you have any plans for this weekend?
I'm going to a birthday dinner with a Harvard friend in Cambridge this Saturday. We used to live in the same dorm back in college. On Sunday, I'm planning to take a complete rest. Sleep in late, read books at home, and maybe try making dumplings again. What about you?
I'm flying back to New York to visit my parents. My mom's making her famous lasagna, and my dad and I will probably spend the weekend debating politics. It's kind of our classic father-son bonding routine. I'll head back to Boston on Sunday night, tired, but definitely full of good food.
That sounds like such a perfect weekend.
It really is. All right, I think we've properly introduced ourselves to everyone now.
Absolutely. So, dear listeners, now you know more about us. You know I'm Linda Wang, originally from Beijing, a Harvard graduate, current MIT postgraduate, your host from English Learning Podcast, and someone who still can't make perfect homemade noodles.
And I'm Michael Johnson, born and raised in Brooklyn, management consultant, also a Harvard graduate, part-time boxing lover, and the proud owner of one of the most common last names in the U.S.
If you'd like us to talk more about any of these topics in our future episodes, my childhood growing up in Beijing, Michael's real experiences as a consultant, our Harvard College memories, or how to survive postgraduate study without burning out, feel free to let us know.
Leave us a comment, send us a message, and share what topics you want us to cover next. We're still new to running this English learning podcast, but we're really excited to grow and learn together with all of you.
Thank you so much for joining our very first episode of English Learning Podcast.
We'll be back with new episodes very soon.
Take care, everyone, and keep practicing your English every day.
Bye for now.